So I have a couple stories to cover. I have a little bit of ground to cover on the Dev Diaries, and maybe some personal business to also air out a little bit here. Um, Actually, no. I have a couple shout outs I want to do as well, but I'm going to wait until later on to get to those because I'd rather get all this stuff out of the way first. Because some of it's extremely exciting, some of it causes me to pause, and the rest is, well, what it is. So let's get into it. I want to get more with the unpleasantness first and just deal kind of with that. Well, no, it's pleasantness, but there's a little bit of unpleasantness that I think needs to be addressed at the end. So let me get into it here. Eastwood signs GOP gay marriage brief. Quote, "We're making a big deal out of things we shouldn't," he said in past. Which is true. We're absolutely making a mountain out of a molehill. And when I listen to people who talk about how they're not judgmental, but they're against gay marriage, or any kind of, what is it, redefinition of marriage, despite the fact that marriage has gone through so many redefinitions from its traditionalist roots that it's ridiculous. And that's not even getting into the whole Mormonism ideas in polygamy, and all that stuff that's gone on, that's also been considered traditionalist and something that should not be touched. But it's let's take the good, and then I'll get to the bad, because at the very end of this article is something that I just want to address because it bugs me that this goes. Add Clint Eastwood to the growing line of Republicans throwing their weight behind an um, an amicus brief, filed with the Supreme Court in support of gay marriage. So here we have a lot of Republicans seeing the light in terms of at least realizing that this is a losing battle, that this is hurting their party, and at the end of the day, that's not worth the battle because they're losing so much ground. Not that I'm saying the Democrats are any better. Trust me, they're not at this point. But they at least don't tend to try to just simply say, well, my book says that this is bad, so therefore I don't believe in it. But I'm not a bigot. Yes, because the Bible automatically will supersede, or any holy book will automatically supersede human nature, instead of being something that is akin to what I would say would be the effects of something like video games on a young child, in which the only thing we can prove is that it only brings out what's already there in a child. So if your child's already on the brink and you give them a game, yes, it could push them over the edge, but they're the minority, not the majority. And even within people who have maybe a psychotic nature, it's not going to set every one of them off. But the idea is that either, that the Bible, for a lot of anti-theists, is the idea that the Bible and indeed religion somehow supersedes human nature and will create people who will do things that they wouldn't normally do. This is the alcohol effects syndrome, as I call it, where someone's like, dude, you were so wasted last night, and you were all talking about how we should all kill the Jews, and you flashed your boobs, and then they're like, oh my God, it was the alcohol, it wasn't me. No, no. Alcohol just removes your filters. Alcohol removes your inhibition. Alcohol does not force you to do something you wouldn't normally do. I'm sorry to burst certain people's bubbles, but that's not how this works. The same thing goes with this. But, that's the excuse I hear when I hear people are like, I'm not fucking racist, man. I don't know what you're talking about, man. I was just drunk. That's just how I'm when I'm drunk. No, no. That's how you are at your very core. That doesn't mean you can't change. That doesn't mean you can't fix things. But the first step in admitting you have a problem is admitting to the problem. and not just passing the buck or blaming other things, which our government is very famous for doing right now. Passing the buck when it comes to the responsibility of a person committing a vile act on their own, of their own fruition, versus blaming video games and media and all this other stuff that honestly has no scientific proof of having anything to have done with these particular situations here. But that's, I'm getting off on a bit of a tangent here, so let me finish this up here, though. The empty chair whisper and longtime libertarian slash Republican is perhaps the biggest name yet to sign the brief, and he hasn't been shy in the past about his views. He told GQ in 2011 that he doesn't, quote, give a fuck, pardon the language, about who wants to get married to anybody else, and that instead of all this bullshit, pardon the language, and about sanctity, we should just give everyone the chance to have the life that they want. CNN notes that for the last year he told Ellen DeGeneres that his attitude is, quote, part of the libertarian idea. Leave everybody alone. That's what I want to finish this particular video off with. Certainly libertarians do have that kind of ideal. Their goals are very pure. Their ideas, in some cases, are very well founded and could work. The way they want to go about it does not work. From all of my research, the things that they want to, the system that they want to create through the libertarian movement, and another reason why I could never be a part of their group, is simply, it's an unsustainable system that they want to create. It's very, very pie in the sky, and it scoffs at the notion that we need certain parts of government. It scoffs at the notion that we need certain types of people and situations when it comes to our daily lives. And I'm sorry, but no. The way that they look at things is not very realistic to how the world actually works, and that's what's bizarre, because they like the Republicans or many other parties, like the Tea Party, believe that they understand the ways in which the world works, and that their system of government or non-government could work better than the system that we have in place. Not that I'm saying the system we have in place is perfect. Oh no, by no means is it even close to any kind of perfection there. But this is par for the course. The founding fathers, or I should say more succinctly, Thomas Jefferson gave this democracy 100 years before it would just collapse in on itself. The founding fathers have known since the beginning that this system as it stands now could not sustain itself. And I'm certainly not arguing for a support of the status quo. If anything, I've been one of the people working from the outside trying to say, hey, I'm not with anybody, but we need to change things in this meaningful way, because it can be a domino effect. We fix one area, it can cascade into other areas, and then make those other areas easier to deal with than if we just try to treat all of the problems with our current system as one big thing and try to attack that. It's not going to work. And it's not going to work in the world as well, because I don't want people thinking, again, with this idiotic non-argument we have of, oh, you only care about first world issues. Eat me, okay? Because right now I want to deal with what I can deal with, my immediate environment. If I'm going to go clean up other people's houses, not that I'm saying necessarily we 100% should, though I should say that we should have a say in these sorts of matters here, I should have my own house clean. You know, people in glass houses really shouldn't throw stones. And so this gets lost and jumbled in the new types of rebuttals here. But that's my only issue here, is Eastwood's right on certain levels. The unfortunate fact with libertarians, at least as far as their party lines go, and the people who are the most vocal of those parties, is a system that just cannot is not real. It's not built on anything. It's not realistic and cannot be sustained. It just can't. But that doesn't mean that they're completely wrong. But that's another video for another time, and at this point I've already gone over my usual time limit. Link to the articles down in the underbar. I think this is good. I mean, what more can I say? We have a slightly controversial actor putting his weight behind gay marriage, and I say, good on you. I'm glad.